Minnesota Vikings mandatory minicamp starts this week, and with minicamp, there's a lot of questions about teams heading into the summer break. And with minicamp, you have a lot more 7-on-7, 11-on-11 drills, still not full contact. Well, teams aren't supposed to be full contact, except some teams, we've seen in the past, but it's definitely more competitive than OTAs. It is a mini version of training camp, and there's going to be a lot of questions about this squad. So here are 10 burning Vikings mandatory minicamp questions before we hit that glorious 6-week break. First up, how sharp is the offense? So now with OTAs, everyone talks about training camp, and we're talking about practice, right? It's not like they waltz into training camp like back in the day after they spent the summer selling insurance and then smoking some Pall Malls and having a Fresca, right? And they're just like, all right, so what's the offense going to be this year? Skip and just pump up the balls and go out there. No, the base offense, base defense has already been installed for the most part. And you have Kirk Cousins talking about how he's studying, always got flashcards, and Adam Thielen talking about this is the most intricate offense that he's been a part of. And the Vikings, they do have the talent at the skill position players. If they get the O-line right, they have talent all over the place. And if Kirk Cousins can be that guy and settle in, and Kevin O'Connell can focus on his strengths and eliminate his weaknesses, I think that the Vikings could easily have a top 10 offense, maybe even top 5, and just clicking, man. Like, you've seen how much talent we have in spurts, but it's been helter-skelter last couple seasons. And you saw how Kevin O'Connell and Sean McVay and Wes Phillips, they operated things with the Rams last year. So it makes you feel pretty damn good. Next up, burning question number 2 for the Vikings as they head into mandatory minicamp. Who will step up at wide receiver? So we know ISM is already going to miss minicamp. He's got that lower body, lower leg injury. KJ Osborne is supposedly going to be able to practice this week, but we'll see. But we know that Jefferson will be 1. We know that Thielen will be 2. Who else is going to step up? Now KJ has the inside track. He had a great year last season, but is it going to be ISM when he gets healthy? Is it going to be BC Johnson, who's back from an injury? Is it going to be a guy like Blake Prohl or a guy, new guy like Burt Wilson or Jalen Speedy Naylor, etc.? Who is going to step up? Who's going to be wide receiver 3, 4, 5, 6? That's what we want to know, and we're going to start getting some separation as we head into the summer. Next up, burning question number 3. Can Mom be quarterback 2? So as of right, Sean Mannion is still quarterback 2. But with all the effusive praise that's come in about Calman, coming from Kwesi, coming from Kevin O'Connell as well, I think that Calman easily could be the future. I think that he easily could be quarterback 2 when this team starts the regular season, week 1 against the greasy, grimy Green Bay Packers at historic U.S. Bank Stadium. I think that he has that talent. I think that last year was whatever. He was in Zimmer's doghouse very obviously, and Zim just didn't have the time of day for him. And I don't think that they had the coaching staff in place to be able to work with a young quarterback. They were fine working with Cousins, who was basically sailing on his own, but someone who needs a little bit of seasoning to step up to the NFL level, they didn't have in place, but they certainly have that this season. Next up, burning question number 4 for the Minnesota Vikings. Dalvin Cook's usage. Now, a lot has been made about Dalvin Cook as the wide receiver, but also, given that the Vikings have the deepest running back room in the league, how are they going to manage Dalvin's pitch count? Because Dalvin has never played a full regular season throughout his career due to injuries. And what's it going to be? Like, he's not going to be that in between the tackles, 30, 40 carries a game type guy. It is what it is. He just can't hold up to that. But I do like the idea of getting him out in space, getting him out wide, getting him in the slot, getting some nice mismatches. But also, how much work is Alexander Madison going to get? What about King Kene? What about rookie Ty Chandler? How are they going to work in? So it'll be interesting monitoring what number 4 is going to do, because obviously you want to use them as much as possible. But as we've seen, you got to watch it with Dalvin, especially if you want him fresh late in games and later on in the season. Next up, burning question number 5 for the Vikings as they head into minicamp. Is the defense settling in? So Ed Donatel coming in, basically throwing out the old defense, even though there will be some elements of a 4-3, 4-man front, 3-4, odd front, etc. And overall, it seems pretty positive. I think that the team and the defense is playing with a lot of energy, a lot of exuberance. I think that Good change can be good, and fresh ideas. Guys playing different positions that they played in the last couple of years. You got Dalvin Thompson, Armand for Watts at the 5 tech spots. You got Harrison Phillips as a true 0 or 1 tech on the nose. You got Danielle Hunter standing up. You have guys just getting at. You have Eric Kendricks playing instead of his 4-3 middle linebacker role as an inside linebacker in a 3-4. It's really interesting, but I think that the Vikings certainly have that talent to be able to make that shift. And I mean, offenses aren't going to be able to just be like, oh, that's the same defense that we've seen X number of years with the Vikings last couple seasons. Like, oh, we got something new. We got that new. That's right. Next up, burning question number 6 for the Vikings as they head into minicamp. How will the secondary line up? No, so there's some questions there because Andrew Booth Jr., the rookie second-round pick out of Clemson, he is still out recovering from core muscle surgery. So it's been Patrick Peterson, it's been Cameron Tiny Dancer, but who else is it going to be? Who's going to take over in the slot? Is it going to be Sean Don Sullivan? Is it going to be Nate Hairston? Is it going to be Harrison Hand? How often are they going to line up with 3 safeties? Because Cameron Bynum, he's too good not to have on the field, and rookie Lewis Seen, as well as, of course, Harrison Smith. So will be intriguing because, I mean, hell, I'm down for rotation, man. You rotate pass rushes, you rotate the front 7. Why not rotate the guys on the back end as well? Next up, burning question numero 7, kicking competition. Ooh, the Greg Joseph, he of the RFA tender, nothing guaranteed, as well as upstart UDFA, Gabe Burkich coming out of the University of Oklahoma. Boomer. Okay, Boomer. It's going to come down to the wire, man. I think that whenever they run a 2-minute drill, whenever they run kicking competition, whenever they have kicks, it's going to be every single kick is going to be reported, and it's going to be really interesting, man. Because I think Joseph, besides the Arizona kick last year, overall kicked pretty well. But Burkich, he just has that ice water in his veins. Alligator blood. Can't get rid of it. I think he's got a little Justin Tucker to his game. I'd love to see it. Next up, burning question number 8 for the Vikings as they head into mandatory minicamp. Interior O-line. So as of right now, left to right offensive line is Darisaw, Ezra, Bradbury, Chris Reed, as well as Brian O'Neill at right tackle. Now, they had been rotating Chris Reed and Jesse Davis, the free agent from the Dolphins, with the first team to start OTAs, but now it's been Chris Reed all the time. Does that change? Does Chris Reed take some snaps at center? He's talked about he's willing to play some backup center. Does that lead to starting center eventually, especially if a guy like Jesse Davis or Wyatt Davis or rookie Ed Ingram, when he signs his contract, actually show a little bit of life? Maybe they can push their way into the right guard spot, and then they shift Chris Reed over to center if Garrett Bradbury doesn't step up like they're all banking that he can. Question number 9, rookies rising. So speaking of the rookies, can Andrew Booth, well, Booth's not going to be at minicamp, but eventually can Booth rise up? Can a Caleb Evans, a 4th-round pick out of Mizzou by way of Tulsa, rise up at cornerback? Can Ed Ingram snag a starting spot along the offensive line? What about Lewis Seen? Obviously, he's going to be in the mix. How much is he going to be in the mix? 5 tech spots, I mean, besides Diesel Dalvin, the other one's pretty much up in the air. Will Otomehu from the Gophers, will he throw his hat in the ring? How much will Speedy Naylor get in there? Will Naylor secure the punt return job? I think that obviously rookies have to earn their stripes. That's why they've been running with the 3s and the 4s, etc. But I think now, as we head into training camp, you may see a couple guys who've been impressive so far at OTAs get a couple of snaps with the 2s, maybe even with the 1s, etc. Lastly, burning question number 10 for the Minnesota Vikings heading into minicamp. Kevin O'Connell as a leader. So this is his first offseason as the Vikings head coach, first offseason as a head coach in any capacity, and he's already proven that he's a player's coach. I think that culture-wise, energy-wise, it's a complete 180 from last season. I think that the players are excited, and you know what really endears you to your men? Giving them time off. So mandatory minicamp is supposed to run the 8th through 11th. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they take a day or two off the back end, because I mean, last week when they had an off day for OTAs, they went to Topgolf, team bonding, man. Also, some of the players, they have janky ass swings, man. Like they have, like, you think I golf bad? I think that Charles Barkley golfs bad, man. It's no bueno. But I'm okay with that. I would actually prefer my star players and especially my coaches have a bad golf game. It's like, hey, if you have a lawyer who is a scratch golfer, buddy, you're going to jail. That's right, man. Time is better spent elsewhere in their profession. But yeah, you'll see Kevin O'Connell. I think he's obviously a players coach, and he'll probably lop a couple of days off, let guys get a head start on their summer vacations, and then just get after it. Because we saw O'Connell could have started off-season workouts a week ahead because of him being a new head coach. He's like, normal timeline. Work smarter, not harder. Modern. I love it, man. But that's it. Those are 10 burning questions as the Vikings head into mandatory minicamp this week. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. So I'll support the work. Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.